Hello and welcome to me, your amateur writing philosopher, and today we're going to talk about what to do when your book is garbage. So you just finished a book and you are so ecstatic and you take a few days to celebrate and be really proud of yourself, and then when you go back to read the first page and start working on edits, you realize you hate all of it and you absolutely have no clue how to fix any of it. What do we do next? So as far as I'm concerned, you have one of two options. Option A, you retailor your editing plan to something that fits where you're at better. Despite being an editing freak myself, it's my favorite part of writing. Understandably, it's really intimidating for a lot of people. They get really jazzed up about writing, but the editing and picking everything apart can feel suffocating. So one of my greatest tips about editing and what works really well for me is that my first draft after the first one when I start editing is sort of not to edit at all the first time. Let me explain. When I do my first editing round, I almost exclusively do just comments. Unless I have an immediate idea on how to tweak something, I'll write like, this is confusing, or like, I like the concept, but the execution is messy. That way I can kind of avoid feeling overwhelmed on how to immediately fix something and instead just point out things that I would like to fix, if that makes sense. It takes the pressure off of finding perfection and then instead puts it on the progress of figuring out how to alter and improve your writing. Now I do this cycle not just once, not twice, but normally 3 or 4 times where I go through, write all my comments, and then I address each comment. And then, go through again, write comments, rinse and repeat, so that I can kind of break down the editing process and not feel like I have to do everything all at once, because that's an easy way to just get yourself in editing gridlock. But if you find that's also not working for you, then we have to reach option 2, and that option might be harder, but might be the right choice. Terrible news, my friends. I have to say the phrase no one wants to hear, but sometimes we have to leave the book behind. Something few authors like to market is the fact that the debut book is rarely the first book. Most of the time people have written several books over the years to kind of practice and hone their craft, and then it's the one that feels the most polished that they go on submission for. So, if you're on your first, second, sometimes even third or fourth book you've written, you might grow so much through writing that book that by the end of it, you may be beyond it. Now, there's always a chance you could end up rewriting it later and it could be something big and you love it. But also, sometimes you just have to leave it. Now, please do not misinterpret me by saying that your book doesn't matter. Actually, it matters so much. That book helped you grow so much that when you looked back, it felt like a completely different writer. It felt like something that you had grown so far beyond that it doesn't work the same way anymore. And that is really powerful for your journey as a writer. It may feel defeating at first, but it's integral for your progress to become better and better at your craft. So don't despair about it. Love it. Be proud of it. Because now you're so much better at what you do because of it. And you never know, you could end up rewriting it, a couple years down the line, and then it becomes something grander and better than you ever thought it could be. It's just sometimes you have to leave what you love behind to keep moving forward. So take a look again at that book you wrote that you hate. And either decide that you can start working through the editing process and taking it step by step, making it simpler for yourself and less overwhelming, or give that book and yourself a pat on the back. Try to remember your love for it over your hate for it, and move forward. And maybe write about that book in your acknowledgments.